to speak to the press today because there have been many reports that I have heard, both on radio, TV, and in print, that the BBL has been stopped, and that the deliberation, that the BBL essentially is dead in the water. And I would like to disabuse anyone of that notion, because as you have seen, the hearings for at least on the constitutional issues have continued, and we have had I think the last one here today. Now, as I have said repeatedly, the effect of the Maguindanao massacre of the fallen 44 on the deliberations on the BBL are fundamental. And that is why, if we are to write a version of the BBL that is going to succeed in actually bringing peace to Muslim Mindanao, then we have to know the facts behind the Maguindanao massacre. And it is very important for us to do that. But until that happens, I think marami naman tayo naririnig na balita, may mga impormasyon na lumalabas, and although the picture is not yet complete, I think that we have to find a way to move forward. As you know, I have suspended the hearings on the BBL in my committee, but we cannot just sit here and suspend indefinitely. We have to find a way to move forward. Now, from all the information that I have received, all of the opinions that have been proffered to me have basically pointed out the fact that there has been a loss of trust on both sides. There is a loss of trust. Ang taong bayan, ang taong bayan ng buong bansa ay kine-question kung ano ba talaga ang motives ng MILF. At ang MILF din at ang taong bayan din ay nagtatanong kung ano ba talaga ang nangyari. At hindi pa natin nakukuha ang buong storya sa ating gobyerno. Hopefully, when the hearings, there is a hearing in the House tomorrow on specifically on the facts of the events that led up to the Maguindanao massacre. And there will also be a hearing on Wednesday that will hopefully bring out the facts that led up to the events that led up to the Maguindanao massacre. And we will take all of those facts, we will put them together, we will study them, and use them to make the BBL a better law. Now, in the meantime, since we have not yet, I have been trying to think of how we can move this process forward. We have not abandoned this peace process. We have not abandoned the hope that we will finally bring peace to Muslim Mindanao. But again, we need to know the facts of what happened on both sides of the conflict. But until we have those facts, I would like to propose that there be some confidence-building measures between the MILF, between the government, and that can be seen by the Filipino populace. Now, I think the confidence-building measures are important so that we can find a way forward. So here, in my view, here are the things that I feel we can do, or we should do, so that the process will move forward, even before we have all of the facts that brought about the Maguindanao massacre. I think that there are several elements that the MILF first can do. Number one, a simple gesture that the forces of the MILF return the arms, the equipment, and the personal effects of the soldiers, the policemen that were killed. That is not very hard. Madali lang naman yan. It is going to be, but again, it will be a sign of good faith on their part. Secondly, that they provide assistance in finding and arresting Usman, who was the secondary target of the SAF unit that went into the area in Maguindanao. Thirdly, they must demonstrate that the disarmament process has actually begun, that they are willing to lay down their arms and give those arms not to their own commanders, but to a third party or the government. Fourthly, they must identify the commanders whose units were involved in the massacre of our staff men, because they were the ones, these units have to be identified by the MILF. The commanders must be asked to explain how this happened. And for them to do that, again, it will be a very important sign of good faith. And I think possibly the most important gesture that the MILF can do is that they explain fully and clearly the true relationship between the MILF and the BIFF. Because if the BIFF is continuing to fight the government, then we cannot possibly have peace. If the MILF and the BIFF, ay nanood ako ng press conference ni Chairman Iqbal and the government panel in Kuala Lumpur the day before yesterday, and the Chairman Iqbal said that they are a separate group. BIFF is separate from the MILF. Therefore, if they are separate, if indeed they are separate, then should we not include the BIFF in peace talks? Because no matter how well we come to an agreement with the MILF, if there is still an armed group that is waging war against the government, then what we are searching for, which is peace, will never occur. If they are together, then that will be, if the BIF and the MILF are in fact working together, then it will be a sign of bad faith on their part. That has to be determined. That is an extremely important point, because we do not know who we are dealing with at this point unless that is clarified. Now, this is not only on the side of the MILF. There requires gestures also from our government. The government must explain how, on their part, this transpired. First of all, the question of chain of command and during this operation has to be clarified. We do not understand, nobody can understand how it is that a very major operation of a big group of our forces was ordered to go into to undertake this mission without the acting Director General of the PNP, DDG Espina, knowing. How is it possible that the Secretary of the DILG also did not know? Now, we hear from the palace that the President knew. We also hear that the involvement of the suspended, the Director General, Alan Purisima, was involved. What does this mean? You know, we also have to give confidence to the MILF that the people that they are talking to are the people who are issuing the commands, are the people who are in fact running the show. Because there is no use talking to somebody who has no influence, who has no authority. And if we are talking to a certain individual in government, certain officials in government, if it turns out, as in this case, they were out of the loop, then sino ngayon ang kausap nila? So there are many, many aspects to this. And I think that at this point, this is the way forward. And these are the things that we need to do, that need to be done by both sides, the side of the MILF and also on the government side. There are many, many questions that we would like to have answered, and until those questions are answered, we cannot move forward. And so I appeal to both sides of both sides of the table, both the MILF and the government side, to undertake these actions, these gestures, to build up confidence once again, because without trust on both sides, we cannot move forward. So that is why I have asked to see you. That is why I have asked to talk to you. Number one, to explain that we have not stopped. In fact, we have been searching after the terrible, tragic events of the Maguindanao massacre. We have been searching of a way forward. I believe those steps that I have suggested is the way forward. If we can have both sides undertake these steps, then I believe we can easily move forward from here. Okay, that's it. That's my statement.